Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio. This is episode 83. We've done 83 of these things. My name's Rob.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Chopper.
We're here on another day. I don't even know what month it is. It is May. And and we're here to talk big, giant mecha, as we always do. And yeah. Anything to say before we get into the actual show?
No. There's a good chance I can get cut off because we have a gale force wind warning again. Possible tornadoes.
That's perfect.
If I go black,
continue on without
chance. Yeah, continue on me, but there's a good chance that I've been blown away.
Continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll just say in memoriam.
In memoriam. It'll be an in memoriam episode.
We will remember you.
Don't get us copyright struck. Enough.
My singing's not that good.
You sounded just like her. Before we get into the show, do comment below on our shenanigans and how much Brian's sounded like. Who sings that song?
Is that
She's Canadian. I don't remember her name.
Yeah. Is that Jewel?
No. Jewel's not Canadian. She's from Alaska.
Oh. Isn't that Canada?
Might as well be. Anyways, now that we insulted all the Alaskans, we'll get into the old dropship. We'll be back.
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan. That's right. Thank you, Brian. We would have just cried ourselves to sleep if we didn't know it was Sarah McLachlan. But now
She's Canadian?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, we're leaving now. Bye-bye. We'll be back for Dropship.
Dropship landing.
Welcome to the Dropship. They're very serious. This one we talk about things, but first of all, we do have a sponsor. The Dropship is brought to you by John Bear Ross. He's back doing his Patreon, and now being a patron gets you a monthly 50% discount code on My Manufactory, Colts or CG Trader. And it's only $1.99 a month, so it's quite the deal, especially if you want to buy a lot of his STLs for his giant mecha.
You can't even get a McDouble for $1.99.
I have no idea what that is. All his projects are available on My Manufactory. Just search for John Bear Ross, and the link will be in the show notes. And we thank John Bear Ross for being a loyal sponsor and friend of the show. And I want an extra shout out to John Bear Ross because he checked on me with my health issues, and he's a cool dude.
Nice.
So it's really nice of him.
We should start labeling him like he's one of the original OGs. He's one of the first ones to get our mugs. Remember when we did mugs for a little bit?
We did mugs?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah. I got a mug.
It's on my table. Oh no, wait, it's on my hobby table.
I have a mug somewhere. I don't even know where it is. I have a Mantic mug. It's right there. Anyways, John is always doing new stuff. This one he's got a I forget what this thing's called now. Why does it keep going away? There it is.
Oh, the landmate thing?
No, this is like the Jaghund, but it's got like a mohawk. Why can't I keep it? Why can't I move this?
It's the rancid Jaghound?
Yes. If I could learn how to move this.
Destination unknown, plasma weapon to the face.
It's so annoying. Sorry for the interruption here, because there we go. Jesus, I had to find like a spot on this little teeny area to move it. Oops. Oh, spoiler alert. This is the Jaghund with a it's the Jaghund, giant Jaghund with it's got a mohawk now. And it must be, what is it, the Chaos version maybe? But it's got
probably, I think teeth. The Chaos Warhound. We're going to call it what it is, the Warhound.
I don't know what it is.
The Chaos one, I think, did have a spiky mohawk.
Yeah, that's what this got.
As was the fashion of the time.
Yes.
Anyways, he's got tons of this kind of stuff. I just want to show one off. It just took me a long time because I could not get this stupid program to move. So, thank you. Thank you, whatever this program I'm using. Screw you. Anyways,
you're welcome, Rob.
Check out all his stuff. He's got a bunch of new stuff too because he has access to all his old stuff he designed. So like the Scorpion mech or the tanks and stuff we printed back in the day.
Yep.
So it's fun.
I painted one up and magnetized it, and we had it on the show for a little bit.
I would pull out the Scorpion again, but we know what happened last week or last month.
I had parts of the Scorpion scattered throughout my car, so there's that.
It's like in the door of his car in his back window. It's great.
It's everywhere.
As for Dropship, we always talk about what we're working on, and I'll start with Brian. What have you been working on this month?
Well, haven't been doing much mecha related, to be honest. Apparently, I might be working on my computer because it keeps locking up on me.
Yeah, paused. Mine does too. Mine does lately. I think probably Windows is probably updated and screwed everybody. But
oh yeah, but yeah, nothing terribly exciting on my hobby table mecha related. I have been doing some painting, and especially now that it's nicer out, I did manage to go outside and get a whole bunch of things primed up. I guess the most notable thing that's close to Mecha is that I've been diving into a lot of 3D files around like Halo themed terrain, and I'm sure I'm going to get myself some vehicles at some point here as well printed up. But I'm getting some of the kind of old school Halo Combat Evolved structures like from the first Halo. Set up and painted up on my table. Right now it's just like spray paint primer, but have plans to at least do a little bit of dry brushing to give it a little extra life. But been seeing a lot of crazy cool boards for Halo Flashpoint, and it's got me inspired a little bit to do some of my own. That is, if my printer ever works again. It has been that thing where I will like get 2 things to print just fine, and I'll go to print the third, and it'll have a little mishap, and I'll just be like, just go again. You're fine. You can do it, and it is then out for weeks.
Yeah.
And no matter how much rebalancing or whatever I do seems to make a difference. So that has started the conversation of like, is it time to just get a better printer? Because the one I've got is kind of a starter, printer, first bit of dabbling into that scene, and it's served me well. It's a Voxelab Aquila 2, which is I think an Ender 3 knockoff.
My Voxlab is the only printer that still works. It's really old and doesn't print very well, but out of all my printers, I have a Voxlab resin one, and it's the only one that still works.
Yeah.
Voxlab's a solid company. So.
Yeah, they're not bad, and it could just be the environment that I print in is not the most
I found humidity
controlled or dust free.
I found humidity really affects the prints. The with that FDM printers. Humidity it gets into the plastic, and it just really screws up how it comes out the hot end. And I was like, why is this not working? And its humidity is weird. That's why a lot of people do those enclosures with like they control the humidity and stuff in there. That's how they like get regular prints going. But it's such pain.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now how long I've had that. It's I think I've had it for at least 5 years.
Nice.
And so it's starting to get that wear and tear on it. Like
wow.
I think,
and the new ones are pretty amazing with the quality of the FDM printers. Even like they're like resin quality now. So yeah,
so it is that thing. I'm kind of going like, okay, let's just pop online and see what these go for. Granted, I hope not too many of them would be imported, but
yeah, I was just going to say they all come from China, so we're all screwed.
Maybe I'll have to hold out just a little bit longer.
Yeah. 4 years.
But yeah, a little bit longer. But yeah, that's kind of been the big thing. Otherwise, I painted up a Dreadball team finally. That's been on my hobby table like the entire winter. So
I did hear that You have to paint up a lot of Dreadball teams on your other podcast. You were saying that you have
Yeah.
to. Rick threw you under a bus and said you got to set this up.
Thankfully, I have a handful of painted teams. It's just I'm probably gonna want to paint up some more. But yeah, it's I've always found, or more recently found, that like if I'm painting up like around 6 minis at once, like that's kind of my sweet spot. Any more, and I just like
it's
I
too
struggle.
much. Yeah,
it's too much. I get distracted. Like I'll go and I'll have to do whatever thing for each model, and then I come back and
you forgot what you did, and
yeah, and whatnot. So it's something that I've got more Halo Flashpoint minis I've primed up and ready to print, including the elites. So looking forward to that. You know, that's only 4 models each team, so that's a little bit more doable in my mindset. So I hope to get back into the groove of painting. I still kind of have to do it in quick batches, and I think that's what has led to some of these projects taking longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've had. Pats, what have you been up to?
Well, a little bit of everything. So, like we talked about, we went to Adepticon last episode and picked up the broadsword from Cav, Talon Games, and I started putting that together, and it's a beast. And in the middle of putting it together, I ran out of 2-part epoxy, so I didn't get it halfway finished. I did include some pictures to Rob to show the progress of where I got, and it's a good-looking model. I mean, as you can see, it's put together pretty well. I will say, if you do happen to pick this thing up from Talon Games, and it's a pretty good steal. I think he dropped the price to $140.
Well, they're doing a Kickstarter for it soon, so
yeah. That the parts, the plugs you have to put in, and then there are holes that the plugs go in. The female side, you have to pull the 3D cover off, so the holes are not there. So you have to kind of grab like a needle nose or a diagonal cutter and just pull out the plug, and it's not that hard. But I learned the hard way because I didn't realize that there wasn't a hole on it. So when I went to put it together, I was like, "Oh, where are the holes?" And then I realized, "Oh, I gotta pull the things out." You gotta do the same on some of the turrets too. So it's like supports, hollow support in the middle, so to help the thing put together. But John did a real good job with 3D printing these all up and getting it together. So far, he just got the body, the guns, the front stabilizers, and then I went to go put the rear folding wings up on when I ran out of epoxy. So, but those I do dry fit, and they don't sit in tightly. So I'm gonna have to find a way to glue them and then make sure they're propped so they don't shift while the epoxy's drying. So far, that's the only downside to that model. But that, this
why don't you use you've zip kicker? Why don't you use crazy glue with zip kicker?
I don't know. I wanted to put it all to epoxy so it stays together pretty well.
It would solve your issue with it falling down because it would set instantly. That's all.
Well, yeah, of course, but then the bond wouldn't be as strong.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and then while I was working on some pirates for Port Royale from Firelock Games, in between painting those Jamaican pirates that I got going on, I was working on the Neo Genesis model that we got from.
That's the red one.
Yeah, what is the company? What is Eddie Chambers' new company called? Do we know?
Does it have a name, or is it just Neo Genesis?
The game is Neo Genesis, so
Zeo
I wonder what his company is. Zeo Genesis, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it has a name. It must have a name.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
Well, the game is Zeo Genesis, and it's a mech kind of army game that we tried out at Adepticon, and we got a free. What was it, light mech?
No, I think best hobby.
What's that, Brian?
Copyright best hobby.
Best hobby, is it?
Copyright best hobby. Best hobby.
Best hobby.
So I started painting that up. I was experimenting with this model a little bit, painting painting it as if I airbrushed it with the dark color base, and then highlighting up the middle with our lighting, and then I'm gonna highlight the edges. Actually, what I think I'm gonna use those weathering pencils I got for Christmas, and chip the edges so it looks a little more worn out. But it's a cool little model. It has two little what do we call them again? Those little fingers, those little hands in front of a spider.
Oh yeah, that's right. The because it's the
Papilla or papulas or something. Exactly what it was. But he's got these two little things on the front of his arms like coatl.
Yeah, the actual, because the arms of the mech aren't the arms of the person inside the mech.
You think those are the arms of the inside of the guy in the mech?
Yeah. It's like Infinity models are like that too.
Oh. All right. Well,
they're I think that's modeled after landmates from Appleseed, and then Shiro Masamune is like the Ghost of the Shell guy. Did a lot of those where like the actual like arm manipulators are like these little arms, and that's where your arms go, and then there's the bot itself has
yeah.
It's like the Waldo of it all.
Yeah.
Well, this guy looks like he's doing the cha-cha.
Yeah, one arm's up. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So I've been working with that, and then I primed up some more. I primed up the what was the name of that game? Endless Night, Endless Summer, Endless Summer, and then it needs a romantic movie.
Endless Fall.
Where is it? It's right there.
Neverwinter.
No, it was Endless something. It was
Endless Destiny.
Endless Destiny. We picked that game up, and I picked up a mech for it. And like I talked to before, it has nice little cool little grooves where you can stick the magnets, so it's pre-cut for magnets, so you can magnetize the weapons that you have to build your robot out as part of the game.
Yeah, it's WYSIWYG.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I primed those up. So once I knocked a couple more pirates off
I see a certain someone behind him too.
Oh yeah, and then I painted I primed the Megatron. We did get those figs a long time ago, and they're supposed to be no need to prime, ready to paint.
Oh, yeah.
And I
You need to prime
ready to paint, and that paint just came right off like it was coated in Rain-X.
Yeah, you need to prime those miniatures. They're WizKids, I believe.
Yeah. So I painted him up because I started to paint him anyways. I was like, oh Christ, I'll just prime him now. So those guys will go into the back of the queue as I paint more pirates off.
Good old pirates. No mechs and pirates.
Yeah, mechs, pirates, and a big ship. Pirate ship. Oh, broadside pirate ship. So as far as hobbying, that's really all I got going on. I mean, I started work not mech related at all, but my wife got me the Rivendell Lego set for my birthday, and then we started working on that. I started working on that, and she started working on a kit I got for her.
How dare you talk about Lego on this show?
Well, you know, I'm going to make a Lego mech one of these days.
Yeah, they do make them.
So,
I had one of those sets, like the Mega Blocks ones that they made a couple of years back. Those are fun.
Okay, I think I cut any more mechs out. No, I was up at Little Wars this weekend. I stopped by and talked to John.
That's the next. That's the next segment. This is only what you've been working on.
Oh, you're right. Okay, next segment. Then I have nothing else to say.
I have nothing else.
For me, I made a little mercenary company. I have a ton of primed mechs, Battletech mechs. So I just ran
mercenary currency based on strippers.
No, I made it based on I don't know, my email address actually, but I
based on your email address.
I asked ChatGPT to make me a merc company, and it randomly chose part of my email address as the name of the company. I later learned I was on X, and it got a lot of traction. I was like, why is these pictures getting so much traction? It's because the Black Spiral dancers are from Vampire the Masquerade. So I was like, or it might be Werewolf, one of the two, anyways. And
okay.
So I was like, I didn't even know. So. Anyways, these guys, it was random, and the color scheme was random. I had ChatGPT make me a picture with my color scheme. So I had my Cobalt Monument paint from my metallic set. So I used that as the base, and then Yeah, it was like a red dot with the spiral in it, so that's what it is. But it's hard to see in this picture. The silver didn't show up as much, but it's the cobalt with like silver highlights on all these guys. So, but yeah, I just made a little merc company, and I'm actually running out of primed Battletech mechs. I have to actually start priming again. Yeah. I have millions of things printed up and millions, like, I literally have boxes full from the Kickstarter that I haven't even opened. So it's not like I have a lack of mechs to paint. I just randomly painting things now. But usually I go from the color compendium, but this time I decided to just make a random one. I think this was the first time I made my own mech unit, or merc unit, so fun. And that's about it for me this month. I didn't do anything else. I haven't. My 3D printer's been dead for months now, but I don't mind because I have so much printed that I will never be without.
It's probably best that you don't have a printer running because you can catch up on.
Yeah,
that's probably like the feeling I get about mine too, where it's just like, it's probably not letting me print the rest of this set because it wants me to clear
finish
off
what
the
you got,
table that I've got covered with stuff right now.
It's got a limiter on it.
Yeah. It's actually working for us this time. But that's it for, I think that's it for the old Dropship. We'll go into ComStar. How's that sound, boys?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. We're going now.
Message from ComStar.
Welcome to ComStar. And this is when we talk about TV, movies, books, comics, RPGs, things Pat goes to and tries to talk about in other segments, but he didn't actually talk about in this segment.
We didn't realize, it's all blurry line here.
I'll go first because I have some news. Pacific Rim prequel series is officially moving forward at Prime Video, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
I love how Pacific Rim somehow just has legs. It just keeps getting more and more stuff.
It just keeps going.
It's the little
Somehow.
anime mech that could.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if this prequel series. I think it's going to be live action actually. So that'd be.
I think it's going to be live action too.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's just so funny that it's just.
I hope it doesn't suffer from
Halo.
too expensive to make syndrome.
Like Halo, where they had to cheap out on a lot of the stuff on the Halo TV show because it was just like. Yeah, they couldn't really do
so
it.
many good shows tell that, Battlestar Galactica, the original.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but, other things. Who else there was there? What was that? Space Above and Beyond? That was
that was an expensive show that got canceled because it was too expensive for sure.
I'm thinking of most of the old Gynax shows were by, like, Gunbuster, by the end of it.
Yeah, they just ran out of money, yeah.
They just ran out of money for colored ink, and they're like, oh, we're just going to show the storyboards because animation costs money, but it's artsy.
I hope it doesn't fall into that category, that Pacific Rim live action.
Pacific Rim is just the storyboards.
I'm curious.
Like a motion comic.
It's a prequel, so it'll be like when the kaiju first show up, which is kind of fun. If it's like Monarch, that'd be kind of like the TV show Monarch with the Kong and Godzilla. That might be kind of cool.
That would be alright.
Yeah, it's like Monarch but with mechs. The other big thing we were just talking about is Neo Genesis is launched on GameFound. The link will be in the show notes if you want to go back it.
I forgot about that. I need to go back on it.
Yep. So you can check it out on the GameFounds. And it's a fun game. It's a lot of stuff already made for it. It's all ready to go. There's a 3D printing option, or you can get the actual miniatures sent to you, which is
and it will be and is a solid game because it's written by guys that are tried and true in the business. So,
and the fluff will be amazing because it's Gav Thorpe doing fluff. So my question is, now that with all this tariff stuff, I wonder if the STL thing will be more like they probably will be moving away from having the miniatures made. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. Who knows?
A lot of companies have gone out of business already.
All up in the air, like we talked about in the Darren's Tomb. I was hopeful maybe that at some point I would get those dice that I paid for. But not only were they having problems with manufacturing in China, now they're going to have problems with all this other things. So I doubt I'm going to see those fucking things down.
Yeah, we were talking like some of the companies are getting like 3,000% increase in cost and all this crazy stuff, and a lot of board game companies are going out of business. Like I know CMON is in trouble because they have so many backed up that they're never going to be able to make.
I think they made an announcement saying they're just putting a hold on all whatever is out there now. So
Yeah.
If you didn't get it, then you're not going to probably get it for a bit, if at all.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Where it's all up in the air right now, so we'll have to see how it goes. But that's why the beauty of STLs. Like, a lot of companies should just switch to 3D printing, and we won't have to deal with all that. Don't have to worry about tariffs with STLs.
I had a friend of mine, we were talking about that, and like one concern that he had shared that hadn't even thought of is like, I know they had like kind of outsourced some of their printing so the people that can get the physical prints, and there's like this moment of like, well then like those companies or organizations, those websites are gonna be like just printing that game, and like
well, that's what happens with the factories in China. Like when Simon has those big ones, they just or they'll just be so busy doing that thing you won't be able to get your own other stuff.
They have like 18 Kickstarters running now too. So
Simon was they overextend themselves. That's they were in trouble before this. Now this is the final nail. I think. I wouldn't not be surprised if we hear about them declaring bankruptcy or something like that soon.
Which doesn't really make us happy to say.
No.
Well, maybe some people are happy about that, but like,
you never want to see any company fail like that. But
yeah, especially ones that make games that we like to play,
and especially all the people who put money out for it, they're going to be screwed. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been reading all the BattleTech books. Still, I'm on the Hour of the Wolf, where I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it's one of the closest new ones. So I'm getting to the end of all the BattleTech books, and then I'll be like, what am I going to read? I'm gonna have something. I have to read something new. I probably read not mech related because I've been pretty bombarded with mech stuff. But although I do want to read those Ashley Pollard books that you guys always talk about, the Bad Dog and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're on my list for sure. That's about it for me. We'll move on to let's do Brian because we know Pat has stuff to talk about. So Brian, you got anything?
I don't have a lot, but so
not a lot on my end. I think I had mentioned last time my brother and I had finished playing through Halo 5, and so we did actually start up Halo Infinity, or Infinite. Yeah, Infinite, and having a fun time with that. Like it starts off pretty well, and like I hadn't fully realized that like a big part of the game is like it's kind of open world in a way, which is pretty different from most of the Halo franchise, where it's otherwise is a fairly linear story path and everything. But I've really dug the updates and changes to it. I will say one thing we were commenting on is like one thing with the Halo games in particular is they like to kill off their certain characters in like books and stuff, and like main characters that you potentially played as will get killed off in books.
Like, where'd this guy go? Oh, he's dead. What?
And it's I won't spoil who, but at least it's happened. It's twice, at least twice already. So, and then so having fun doing that. Continue to play through a little bit of got a little bit more into Armored Core time. Let's see, I just beat another boss. Oh gosh, which one was it? It was kind of not a helicopter-y one, but it was all part of getting onto some giant launch pad thing, and there was this one boss there. I forget if I mentioned it before. Like Armored Core is probably the most forgiving and lenient of the FromSoft game catalog. Because there's checkpoints and like when you come back, you're fully restocked, and maybe it's the difficulty I'm playing on, which I think is just normal.
All the other Souls games, they don't give you that kind of options.
yeah, they don't give you anything like that. It's practically roguelike. And so continue to play through that, and like it's been fun because like I can just you can like then tweak your loadout real quick, go back and try like just the boss fight again. You don't have to start the whole level over and stuff like that. So that's always nice, especially when you're like, all right, I haven't played this in like a month and a half, and this
how
is
does
the jump
controllers?
button.
Yeah. It's always it's like what's the button do?
And then continue to work my way through the Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one. It's our characters are slowly making their way up this giant mech that we live on. that a whole ecosystem has grown around. It's like we're running along the surface of the SDF-1, but I think bigger. So it's neat. It's still kind of a fun time. The plot and game mechanics continue to throw new things at us, and I am catching a couple of the little nods to the some of the previous Xeno series. In that a character has one of the token items is like a little necklace. And I was like, I see that. I see that. I think they're called the Zohar. Anyway, all that to say, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Nice. What about you, Pat?
I
heard you went to Little Wars.
Yeah, I had not read much anyways, because like I don't know. Well documented that when I'm in the hobby groove, I don't do much as far as media. I didn't watch anything. I'm trying to think if anything popped up other than watching the Shin Ultraman.
I know there's the new Gundam series.
Yeah, none of us watched it yet.
I forgot about that. All right, I got to get on that.
Me too. Yeah, I keep meaning to go to it, and I just haven't done it.
I got to get on that. All right, so that's, write that down. But other than that, no games, nothing. But all right, so I did go to Little Wars, and I did meet up with John from Talon Games and chatted with him and saw the stuff. But the thing, he's getting ready to go to Kickstarter, and I'm sure we'll have him on close to Kickstarter with the new version of Cav to come out.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to hear.
It's gonna be a little more. I guess this is probably the wrong way to say it, but it's gonna be a little more generic though. So, whereas before some mechs were available to whatever faction you were playing, I think all mechs are going to be available to all factions now. You kind of just pick and choose.
Yeah, more like Battletech.
Which is all right. That's fine with me too. But I can't wait to see the Kickstarter for it to come out though, so I can hurry up put my force together. I've kind of slowed down on painting on Cav models because I painted the whole army, and now that army is gone.
Well, I think it's a lot of it's they're trying to move away from the Reaper. Right, so they don't want any of the Reaper IP kind of in it anymore, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
that might be it. That might be true.
Yeah, because I think he's just ever since Ed Pugh died, I think that was kind of him going, yeah, these guys aren't the same people I started with, kind of thing, and he's going to go his own way, kind of.
I get that feeling too. So it doesn't bother me if it goes away because I can still use those mechs.
Yeah, and there might be a color scheme that's the right color scheme too. So who knows?
Yeah. So, or I'll just make them a pirate group. Yay!
Pirates who dress up like aliens.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're not aliens. It's just color scheme. I know. Everyone's in power armor, so they all look the same. But as far as media is concerned, that's it. I don't think I've done much.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been a busy time. Yeah. April's always busy. Like I said, we just got through AdeptCon and then into April, and then a lot of stuff going on.
I'm still in the middle of that. I can't even remember what book it is now. It's whatever book I said last month I started reading into, but I haven't even cracked that book since I started painting.
So you're crazy. You can only do one thing at a time. It's so funny.
Well, I think what it is because we do the hobby at night. And then we go right up until I go crash to go to bed for work.
Yeah.
So I always read before I go to bed. So if we're not painting, I have time to crash and then read before I go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, we've painted more in the last month, I think, or 2 months than I have in years. So that's good. Other than that, we'll move on to the MechBay, I guess. Where our topic. It's going to be a fun little topic. Lots of picatures.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
Welcome to the MechBay Hanger. We are doing our usual roundtable topic. This time, we haven't done it in a long time, so I decided, let's do some casting. We're going to cast some mech video games. And when I say mech video games, it's pretty loosely mech video games. We don't necessarily, they just have to have mechs in them, right? And to prove my point, I'll start because, my mech video game that I decided to cast was Cyberpunk 2077. Which, mech video game, it's got mechs in it. I think it counts.
I'll allow it.
My first person I'm casting is Johnny Silverhand. I wonder if you guys can guess who I'm going to cast as Johnny Silverhand. I could have gone outside and said, hey, let's cast somebody other than Keanu Reeves, but what's the
Christian
point?
Slater.
That's right.
The guy who played Bill and Bill and Ted.
But obviously, you're going to start this casting for this. It's going to be the old Keanu. He's that character. The game was based on around him being the character, so you kind of have to have him as that. But now I get interesting because after that, I decided to cast the main bad guy of the show. It was going to be Atom Smasher. And good old Atom Smasher. He's a full cyborg, but he still has his head, which is always good.
Yeah.
And his
Still counts.
his head's going to be Tom Hardy. That's who I've decided to be Atom Smasher's head. Because Tom Hardy, he can play real evil, I think. He's got that gravitas, and I can see him really playing up the crudeness of Atom Smasher. And
Just imagine him with his Bane mask on again.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he could do
Like a little bit more distortion in there.
Yes.
Yeah, Silverhand.
Silverhand.
Which will break first? Your arm or your body?
That's right. He's the main enemy and the final boss of the original Cyberpunk before the DLC, and he's so fun to kill. So it'll be the I guess that this will be a movie. I don't know, maybe a series of movies. It's hard. Actually, it probably doesn't need to be a series of movie because the storyline's pretty basic on Cyberpunk 2077. It's all the side stuff that's crazy. So if you just keep it to a few heists and trying to find ways to free V, it would make a good movie. They keep talking about doing a TV show. We'll see if that actually happens. But for Judy Alvarez, I chose a very beautiful Hispanic actress named Camila Mendes. I believe she was in Riverdale, I think. Your dogs agree. That's all I know.
Yeah, they're fighting.
She's very pretty. She would make a good Judy.
Riverdale, that's that weird, dark Archie's TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it dark, but it was definitely an Archie TV show.
Yeah.
But it was more adult. Like there was people died and
Yeah,
things like
she was. I believe she was Veronica in it, if I'm not mistaken. I've never watched it, but that's I get the impression that's who she was.
Yeah.
I would call it dark compared to an Archie comic book.
Well, Archie comic books nowadays are pretty dark. They do a lot of crazy stuff.
Apparently, they got pretty dark.
Yeah, they're pretty. They do have the average Archie with the old ones, but the new ones are pretty crazy. Like do post-apocalypse and stuff like that. So, So she would make a good-looking Judy. I think she already looks like her. So just add some tattoos and a crazy colored hair. For Panam, I chose Kiersey Clemons. I can't remember where I saw her from, but maybe in a Black Mirror episode or something like that. She I think would look a good Panam, and she looked the part, and I know she's a good actress. So Panam's not my favorite character in Cyberpunk. Everybody's obsessed with her, but I was never a fan. So I found her very annoying. She just annoyed me constantly. I was a Judy guy. Well, it's a Judy girl all the way because Judy only goes with girls. But anyways, Panam. I chose that actress. And finally, for V, you had a choice. It could be male V or female V. I went for female V because I think that's more interesting. And I went with a controversial choice. I went with Daisy Ridley from Star Trek fame, Star Wars fame, obviously. I think she.
Daisy Ridley's pretty good.
She's a really good actress, and I think she got such typecast and given poor scripts and beaten down by Star Wars.
A good actress, but you got pigeonholed in that, and you unfortunately suffer the backlash. You carry the weight of that.
So I think her as a tough as nails, street samurai, whatever they're called in the Solo in the old Cyberpunk. I think it'd be a different character for her, and I think it'd be interesting to see her play that character. So I think she could do it. And I was like, who could be a female V? Like, obviously, there's like older actresses, like Charlize Theron, or like there's quite a few older ones, but I needed someone a little bit younger, so I chose Daisy Ridley. And that was my casting for Cyberpunk. If you have any other ideas for people, I didn't go full depth. There's tons of other characters, but yeah, I did the main characters. And if you have any other ideas, please comment below. But that would be my casting for a Cyberpunk 2077 video game, and there'll be mechs in it because the police have mechs, so it counts.
Yes.
When they
raid, Smasher's a big mechy guy.
Yeah, that's true too. But when they raid Toten, the what are they called? The cyborg guys, when they do that raid, there's lots of mechs shooting the hell out of you in that one, so it counts. Yeah. Who wants to go for next? Let's go with Pat. Pat, why don't you go next?
Me?
That is you.
All right, so I chose Iron Harvest. If you don't know what Iron Harvest is, it's an RTS.
I forgot about this game.
Yeah, it came out a while. It came on Windows. It was on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. It's based on what they call Diesel Punk now, based on the artists of Jacob Rosalski.
Yeah, is that Scythe, that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you played Scythe, they took a lot of his pictures. It basically plays an alternative history just after World War II, where we did never get past, and all the different worlds are different. So, like, Imperial Germany is still Germany, and then it's got a different name now. What is it called again?
It's pretty much on the Russian front, isn't it?
It goes through three different. Saxony was the Germany, the Roosevelt was the Russians, and the Polania was Poland. And then a DL layer comes on where you play Usonia, which is technically America.
Oh, really?
The cool thing about this game was
Usonia, nice.
Yeah. What the cool thing about this was that it was divided. It was multiplayer, real-time strategy. You can play against other people, or it came with 4 single-player campaigns you can play through. And so because of that, I chose just the first campaign, which was the Poland campaign, to choose my characters and everything from, because this thing could be a quadrilogy. Is that a word? Quadrilogy?
Yep.
Quadrilogy.
A 4-part series. It could be a 4-part series. I mean, it could even be 5-part, because there is a side single player where you play the Russians, but you play the revolutionary part of Russia that's trying to break away from the people who are running the country now. But in the Poland campaign, it starts with the main character, whose name is Anna Koss. She's the daughter of a scientist who has a mechanical arm that can stop mechs. So people are looking for him. And so for her, I picked that gal from Game of Thrones, Last of Us, Bella Ramsey, because she just kind of fits that look in my head of what a Polish young girl fighting for her life kind of thing. In the game, the Russians troops raid her village looking for her dad and just kill out everybody. But he's captured by the bad guy, who's Colonel Len Zubov. And for him, I picked Stellan Skarsgård.
I love how you just give him random orders for these people.
Huh?
You gave me like a random
list.
Yeah.
All right, so my list is not random. I'm going through the storyline. But I listed the guys as the first 4 guys are technically the good guys, and the last 2 guys are technically the bad guys.
Well, now you just got to keep finding the pictures, is all.
Oh, sorry. But he plays the colonel that is running the Russian army, trying to find her dad. I think his name is Piotr. Did I cast him?
Yes,
yeah, Piotr. And so for her dad, I picked. How do you say that guy's name again? Cillian?
Yeah,
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders.
And many other things. He's been in lots
and Oppenheimer.
And 28 weeks later, and 28 days
I thought
later.
he'd look like a
Days, yeah.
I thought he'd look like a really cool scientist with a mechanical arm that could stop mechs by touching them. So he gets captured in the storyline, and then he ends up dying, and then she tells
Spoilers.
spoilers.
What?
Then he tells his daughter to warn his colleague Heinrich Steinmetz that this is happening, and for him, I picked another guy who I thought would look like a cool, crazy scientist. Would be Mads Mikkelsen. Mads, I like Mads.
Well, it's good if you can fit Mads Mikkelsen in.
Yeah, he just looks like a crazy kind of Slavic Iron Curtain scientist kind of guy. So I'm trying to remember how the game goes because I played this a little while ago. So after he tells you to go find your uncle, then then she wants to avenge her father, and she joins her father's brother, who is kind of a good guy in the beginning, which his name is, I think they just call him Uncle Lech. I think his real name in the game is Lech.
Yeah, Lech. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for him, I wanted to play Piotr Stromer. People don't recognize his name, but you would recognize his face.
Yeah, he's been in so much stuff.
Oh yeah,
John Wick.
He's been in so many movies. Yeah, John Wick. He was the uncle in John Wick 2.
Yeah,
in the very beginning of the movie.
But he's been in he's a bad guy in everything in the 80s.
Yes.
He
was also the Russian. He was the Russian cosmonaut in
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Oh, that's right.
Armageddon. That's right. So I picked him because as the game goes on, you find out that he's smuggling weapons in with the food that's coming into Poland because he wants to arm the citizens so they can do a massive uprising and boot the things out. And to spur his people on, he was going to martyr her. So she knocks him out and gets away, and then they help Heinrich escape on an airship while they stay. And then at the end, after one of the last missions is you have to help the civilians and the Heinrich escape in the airship. Then you're captured by Colonel Lebov. But then he also finds out he's been manipulating the resistance because he works for a secret faction inside the Rus Viet Fenris that wants to start war again. But then he kills the uncle. But then the commander of the Polish army shows up and rescues everyone at the end of the game. And did I put him down?
Poland.
Michael. Yeah, Commander Michael Sikorski. And for him, I picked David Harbour.
Yeah, David Harbour's pretty good.
He looks like a giant leader, kind of Iron Curtain, bulky kind of guy.
Yeah.
Plus I got what does he play again in the Thunderbolts?
He's the Russian guy in Thunderbolts. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what that Russian
super soldier.
So
yeah.
That kind of plays into why I see him when I was thinking about this game.
He was also in Stranger Things. He was in Russia too in that.
Yeah. So that is my casting just for the Poland campaign of the game. Then it moves into the Russian campaign in the next set. So if we do
he's got a whole another set of characters.
Maybe I'll do the whole Russian one too.
Well, we'll have to revisit sometime.
Yeah.
Anyways, Brian, what have you done?
Yeah. So I opted to go with StarCraft. Though none of my, I think, characters that I picked pilot mechs in them, there are plenty of mechs in StarCraft.
Hey, none of my guys piloted mechs either.
Raynor can't pilot some mech because he drives the little buggy thing.
Yeah, he's got a like hover bike, the Vulture, but yeah. So I'll be kind to Rob and kind of go in order. It's kind of a weird combo of kind of like in my head it was kind of between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 around the time of the Terran campaign at least. And so to start off with, we got to have Jim Raynor. And this, I won't lie, this was kind of a difficult guy to cast because on the one hand, like he's kind of got that like Southern Texan kind of cadence to him. He's got to be charming, but also like prone to violent outbursts. Got to be able to do like be a courageous and heroic figure while at the same time like have a lot of issues with revenge and betrayal and all that kind of good stuff. And so I landed on if this was shot in a little bit further in the past, I would have gone with oh gosh, the name is escaping me now. He's in the thing.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
You could have gone with his son. He looks just like him.
Yeah, no, I thought about that, but I landed on Karl Urban, and it's a weird combination of like him in the movie Doom with an M.
Oh yeah.
and him in The Boys. And so like within that mix, I think it would be a fun kind of acting challenge for him, because I feel like you don't see him do as many dramatic roles. He does a lot of action stuff. He's done some drama, but like one that can really fluctuate between the different tones that character hits. Jim Raynor's a really neat character, and I think Karl Urban would be a pretty awesome lead. Someone that's not opposed to walking around in a full power suit of armor with their face not being visible.
Yep, we know he's done that before.
Yeah. And so obviously he's going to be facing up against Emperor Mengsk, who in the story of the first StarCraft game, they join forces, Mengsk and Jim, and rising up against the Confederacy, as it were, and winds up implanting Mengsk as what becomes the Terran Emperor. And I think Malcolm McDowell just has a voice that fits this guy. There was a secondary that I had picked out too, but its name escapes me right now. I'm bad with names. And so I think he's played like kind of evil rulers before many times. And Mengsk himself is very much he's a very calculated but backstabby kind of guy. Like he treats people as pawns to get his way, and so someone that kind of can capture that calculated and methodical mentality, as well as he's a very boisterous and charismatic character when he kind of goes on the radio and the television to speak to all of humankind, and to support your local empire. So Jim Raynor in his big battle cruiser, this kind of jumps into the StarCraft 2 side of things. He's got to have a good old little buddy that helps as the mechanic and weapons master on the ship, named Rory Swan. I thought a little Danny DeVito
I thought this was hilarious.
In that role.
Yeah.
Karl Urban and Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
I think would be a really the missed opportunity that we haven't seen those two together, to my knowledge. But I think Danny DeVito can really play those outrageous characters and everything. Rory Swan himself is kind of like this dwarf-esque character. This is all kind of, it's just sci-fi Warcraft. And so Rory's kind of that classic mechanic kind of guy, but also has that, like, he's the guy that Jim will talk to and get a little guidance from and whatnot. Then we have the character of Nova, who's like a covert assassin in the the unit type is a ghost, and so they can cloak and have sniper rifles and do a whole bunch of espionage and stuff. Nova herself is storied character kind of outside the games. She almost had her own standalone game
Ghost,
at one point.
Yeah.
And but I thought a good. I do think there might be some other options there, like when you kind of mentioned Daisy Ridley. I'm like, oh, that wouldn't be bad. But I do think I always like to see Kristen Stewart in stuff, able to act maybe a bit more in a dynamic fashion. I've seen her just do really great things in a lot of different shows that aren't Twilight.
Yeah, that's the problem. Just like Daisy Ridley, she got stuck in the Twilight Zone, and then that was it.
And I think she's got a great like an intensity in her eyes that the character of Nova like kind of has, like, mostly view her like in the close up, talking heads type thing. But yeah, I think Kristen Stewart would be a fun pick for that. Artanis is the leader of one of the Protoss factions. He starts off as a young guy, kind of just an eager warrior in the first series, and eventually kind of becomes the leader of the Protoss faction, and fast friends with Jim and so on. And I thought Doug Jones.
Put him in a suit. He's all good.
Got to have a man in a suit. It's got to be Doug Jones. And I think he'd be able to really embody the physicality of that character well. The Protoss speak like telepathically, so they don't have mouths.
Mm-mm.
And he's played a character that doesn't have mouths before, so I think. But you see him as like Abe Sapien and Hellboy and all sorts of other stuff.
All the Guillermo movies, yeah.
So he's really great at physical acting, and would be, I think, really, really good at embodying a character who mostly speaks, if you will, from body language. And then one of the other big characters in the series, Sarah Kerrigan, who is a human character at the start of the franchise, gets betrayed and left behind by Manx, and after having a kind of flirty relationship with Jim, and gets captured and transformed into by the Zerg, these kind of greebly monstery critters, and gets turned into the Queen of Blades, who is a character that the series has had problems characterizing frequently, in that you get to play as her faction quite a bit, and her character, you see her journey. And I won't lie, there's a whole lot of genocide that goes on in this game. So you kind of weigh that, and it's like, oh, like she helps them in the end, but like she murdered like billions of them intentionally. But I think Charlize Theron would be a great actress to fill that role.
Yeah,
she
would, actually.
She has like another character that has like a great intensity, be able to speak with her eyes, and because it would be an outfit that's a lot of prosthetics, and animation to.
She had wings, right?
She had wings that were kind of like bones,
like dragon wings, right? But
yeah,
with no membrane.
With no membrane in between, and she could use them to attack people, and had like these tendril dreadlocky things. So yeah, I think she would be really great in that role. Ironically, her and Kristen Stewart would be kind of redoing a meetup because they played in the Huntsman movie.
I forgot about that.
Opposite one another. another lost film to time. But I think it's another character that deals with a lot with betrayal and anger and rage, and just that little bit of alien temperament to her, channeling a bit of like her presence in Prometheus. I think combined with a little bit of Furiosa in there as well. Could go a long way. I think she'd be great as Sarah Kerrigan, and I imagine she and Carl Urban would probably have good chemistry between the two of them for scenes where they need to show the bond of those characters and the struggle of the bond of those two characters. And lastly, I had to throw it in there. Some Marine or Firebat even needs to be played by Danny Trejo, because Danny Trejo was used as a model for a life-size statue at one of the Blizzard cons, and so there is a big face of Danny Trejo in the big Space Marine power suit. So he's got to be in there somewhere. It's
just as a little Easter egg.
Yeah. Machete in space.
Machete. Yeah, he just pops his head open, does a one-liner, and then goes on to kill some Zerg.
There was a named Firebat, which is the flamethrower human unit named Goy Montag, which if you read Fahrenheit 451, that makes sense. But that could that. I don't know if it's Spanish enough, but that's who I think would be a good Danny Trejo. There
you go. Yeah, I think that was fun.
It's a space western. There has to be a Mexican in space.
He's gonna have bandoleros on.
Is he Mexican or Mexicant? I love that line.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, I love doing these castings. This is always fun. It's always fun to see what everybody thinks of. This one was tough because it's hard to. A lot of mech games don't have like named characters. Like it was really hard to find like some mech games with like actual characters. Like it's mostly just unnamed mech pilot or just random mech pilot, or they're licensed games like Battletech or one of those ones. It's like, well, we just be doing Battletech again. But yeah, fun times. I guess that's it. I guess we can go to the ExFil now. We've done our allotted time.
Yeah.
So let's get the hell out of here.
Let's ExFil the hell out of here.
Let's ExFil out of here.
Welcome to the ExFil. Another successful show created. We've had some fun. We've talked about some casting, lots of news, and we've done some things. Not very much because we're slackers, but maybe in the future we'll actually do some other things.
I've done some things.
I did some things.
I can't commit to that.
Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Join us on Facebook or X or all the other things. I think we're on Blue Sky. I don't know. I lose track sometimes.
I think we are.
Yeah. And mostly we're active on Facebook and a little bit on X. Not as much anymore. But anyways, yeah. Please do comment and let us know your castings, maybe. Give us some castings. Or let us know of other mech games that we should cast next time, because I had a hell of a time
or mech games we should try. You think we should have tried?
We've played quite a few of them, but
that's true.
And yell at us for not actually watching the Gundam show. That was huge, and we all should have watched.
Yeah. It's on my list.
I don't know how that got through.
Every day I was like, yeah, I should watch that, and then something else would come up. But anyways.
I need to set aside just that half hour every night to do something.
Yeah, it's not very long either. Yeah, I don't know how many episodes is it. Do you know how many episodes?
Not off the top of my head.
107.
Yeah, it's not a full season. Woo! It's like 13 or something like that, if that. Yeah. Other than that, please join us next month for another fun episode. And until then, I've been Rob.
I've been Brian.
And I've been Chopper.
And we'll be back with more Mobile Armor Radio.
Bye-bye.
I'm on a mech radio.
I popped onto my mini factory, and all the price tags have like an extra 2 digits into the decimal.
It's the tariffs.
Tariffs for it. I think that somebody hit a button.
It says $20, or it's saying
2,000.
That's
the tariffs, man.
You're on yen maybe. Anyways, we're still in the show here, Brian. I know you like do this on Dead Zone the podcast.
I was looking at John Bear Ross's stuff. The extra guy.
We're leaving now.
We're leaving. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter @MArmorRadio. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.